everybody. Assalamu alaikum. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button and the notify button so you know when you're getting new episodes. And we just want to grow this project. I thank you in advance. Without further ado, let's get it rolling. The Shout Out Show. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi barakatuh, everybody. I'm Preacher Mars, host of the SOS, the Shout Out Show. I'm wishing you, all of you, an incredible Monday headed into Tuesday. That's number one. If you're coming on the Shout Out Show for the first time, please click that link, that like button, click that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 100 this month, inshallah. That's number one. Now, if you are part of the official SOS family, the SOS soldiers, you know I've been waiting to see you. Hopefully, you've been waiting to see the show. What does that mean? It means that we have a relationship here. From now on, I want you to understand that the SOS show is a relationship show featuring conversation, featuring communication, and good thoughts and positivity. That's it. Now, I had to change up a little bit for people because I'm going to admit something to myself. Looking at the world, and let me shout out some of the Shout Out family. Shout out, so Sister Reed, of course. Miss Eleanor, Brother John, Miss Eleanor, my mama's homie, sidekick. Thank you for coming on the show. I have a mission to make to everybody. My mission is this. That it seems that for the last couple weeks, last couple months, some of the storylines of the world have gotten a little heavy. And it's not from my doing. It's just when you see the world, you tend to report on the world. That's what I'm saying. So with that being said, I said there is a fiduciary responsibility every once in a while to lighten the mood, to understand that everything that's going on in the world has a purpose. We don't know what the purpose is, but it has a purpose. And I wanted to rebrand Monday as being the worst day of the week. So I have rebranded this. You heard it. It is More Better Mondays. Now, this song is the title track from Spike Lee's More Better Blues. One of the reasons I write this song is there's a chord that literally is played that brings your heart down at about 2 minutes, 2 seconds. It drops the top. And every once in a while, especially black folks, we need drops. We need something that takes us back, but doesn't bring us down. We need something that takes us out, but doesn't take us too far. So I decided to rename Mondays More Better Mondays with Preacher Mars. I didn't have a vote. I didn't ask anybody. I never asked anybody. But I felt like it was important for all of us to designate that one day that we're not going to let people bring us down. We're not going to let people stress us out. We're not going to let people get on our nerves. And I decided to make the toughest day of the week, the Monday, the best day to do it. So that's the rebranding part of it. The other thing I want to make sure we understand on Mondays, there's no guarantee we're going to be here. Nobody says we're going to be here on Monday, we're going to be here tomorrow. Therefore, outside of the clouds of controversy you see in politics and decisions, I think it's really, really important to give some shout outs. Walaikum assalam rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, all the way from Charlotte, all the way from New Jersey, to all the people on this chat know, all the people on in the comment section know that there's one principle. There's one principle that lifts us above this. The principle is, for all that we know, we don't know. For all we think, we don't think. For all that we own nothing. And if you take that idea and understand that the world, if you will, is an opportunity to discover and connect with connection with the creation and the people around you, the world gets a little bit better. I understand politics, have understood politics for a long time. But politics is driven by intention. We, as a community of like minded individuals and people who want to see good in the world, need to coalesce around that idea. Need to make that the new, if you will, infectious disease optimism. Now, I'm talking about optimism, brothers and sisters, on the ugliest day of the week. We all know how Mondays go. If you got paid on Friday, you were probably broke on Friday afternoon, didn't realize it till about right now. You're probably watching ShOUT show thinking, I hope this nigga will give me a laugh because I ain't got no money for the next 2 weeks. However, that's okay. Because what that says is we know ourselves. And one thing I want to promote on Mo Better Mondays is that we come to a space and we know ourselves. Nobody has to be pretentious. Nobody has to act all haughty. Nobody has to act like we're better than one another. We're not better than one another. In fact, better than is a blessing. Less than is reality. So if we're going to focus on a couple of things today, I'm just going to take this space to be thankful. Let me tell you why. I have a good friend of mine, Reginald Kitchen. Never complains, never stresses out. But you know what's interesting about Reginald Kitchen, brothers and sisters? I'll tell you what. He's had health issues for the last 3 months. Hasn't been home, hadn't been to spend time with his family because of COVID. He's laid in the hospital and gone through some of the most horrendous surgeries and just fighting, brothers and sisters, just keep a mental state of mind. And the beautiful thing was, while he was going through all of this, he never complained. He didn't complain Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. He said, I would be doing a disservice to my creator if I started complaining now. And he said, let me explain to you. He says, from now and then, between now and the last 3 months, how many people have left this earth? How many people are no longer here with us? How many people that we thought were really, really healthy are gone now? And I began to reflect on that. And it wasn't just the physical health that I'm talking about. It's really the spiritual health, the mental well-being that we need to be focusing on. You know, employment is something that I always used to think was very, very important. It is important. Being able to, if you will, get paid for a skill, get paid for a job that we do. But then I looked at the word employ and I said, you know, I thought about my grandfather. And he always talked to me. He was a real dude. He was a real dude. He once asked me when I was young, because I got in a job raking leaves. You might have heard the story before. He said, I got paid for raking leaves. He said, boy, do you want to, he said, do you want work or you want a job? I said, I want a job. He smacked me in the head. He asked me again, he said, boy, do you want work or do you want a job? I said, I want a job. He smacked me in the head. Now, obviously, after 2 times, I'm realizing that the job is not the thing. He said, what do you want, boy? I said, I want a job. He said, no. He said, you want work? I said, Grandpa, I want work. And he said this to me. And I think we should actually think about this more. He said, in your life, you always want work. I said, really? He said, yes, sir. He said, there's always a thing that people, you can show people your body at work. You can't show people your body at job. I said, okay, I get that. But he also said, to the black man, job, spelled J-O-B. He said, J-O-B for a black man means just over broke. Just over broke. And I realized that through the history of African Americans, through the history of Latino, we have been defined by the jobs we do for other people. And so I want Mo Better Mondays to be a bit of a liberation, an extra day on the end of your Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We're going to call it an unofficial weekend. You can't do it for the whole day, but I can give it to you, brothers and sisters, for this little half hour. I can give it to you. And began to have the conversation, for lack of a better word, that we begin to be truthful with one another. I was working on some classwork today. And it was Islamic studies type of stuff. And it's a question, brothers and sisters. The question was, in the case of something. Would a woman be a good witness in a trial? And I thought about how sexist it sounded, but I realized the time of when it's been talked about. And then it made me think and say, you know what? The issue is not whether a woman could be a good witness. The issue is, can the truth be upheld? Can the truth be recounted in a meaningful way where it allows us to make a decision? And so, for everything that's going on now, brothers and sisters, I don't care who lies, I don't care who misleads. Understand that there's a blessing in that, because as aware people, as conscious people, as believers, we realize that everything that you're saying has a specific truth. And you will be judged according to how close you are to that truth, how well you represent the truth. Because the truth is something, like they say, old school. Truth is something that you never have to remember. That means a whole lot to me. Because you don't have to come up with nuances. I can tell you exactly how it happened today, the way it happened 15 years ago. And it's it's not an art form, it's a lost blessing. You don't understand how much a blessing is when people tell you the truth. Because people don't like to tell the truth anymore. We're worried about political correctness. We're worried about how somebody's going to think about us. You know, the truth, brothers and sisters, is a missing quantity in so much of what we see in the world today. And the further we've moved away from it, the more and more the world has gotten into chaos. You know, I like the movie More Better Blues. There was a scene where the truth was all around the two central characters, Denzel Washington and Spike Lee. The truth was, Denzel had some issues, some addictions he was dealing with, and Spike Lee had some addictions he was dealing with. And the reality is, if they couldn't get rid of those addictions, it would bring them down. You know, Denzel Washington played a talented musician named Bleak Gilliam. In the recording that you just heard, he plays the horn in More Better Blues, but the actual man who played the song, his name is Terrence Blanchard. And let me give you a little background about Terrence Blanchard. Terrence Blanchard was an amazing trumpet player, but he went through a phase, brothers and sisters, where he messed his lips up. This happens often with trumpet players. He messed his lips up. And in the course of trying to get your lips together, you cannot play correctly. Your lips don't fit the aperture of the horn piece. So the wind, how you blow, your breath, your breathing, it messes up the whole thing. And he went for a period whereby basically he couldn't play like he used to play. I'm only telling you this because he told me this when I opened for him in Milwaukee around 1993, 1994. And we were in a little club, and the guy sat there in this club called the Jazz Estate, which is a horrible club. My bass player, Taurus Mateen, was there too. That's how I met Taurus. They barely got paid, and the owner tried to pay me in cocaine. That's a whole nother story. But he sat there and told me the blessing of, while his mouth was messed up, that the music continued to play in his head. While his mouth was messed up, the music continued to play in his head. And in that space, he found value. In that space of chaos, he found value. And what I'm saying, brothers and sisters, is we need to always be in a space where we're trying to find value in the worst situations, worst scenarios. You guys heard me talking about basically being out of work, not doing a live show on stage since the middle of February. But I've had so many blessings come in the aspect that the mind continues to work. The mind continues to evolve. And I'm able to have ideas and blessed to have people like yourself that I can bounce ideas off of. That I can say, hey, what do you think about this? And if you don't like it, it's not anything wrong as long as you're telling me the truth. You're doing me a favor. And so as this whole thing begins to change, you know, the numbers from COVID admittedly are coming down. Not everybody is taking COVID seriously. I can't deal with that. We can take COVID seriously and protect ourselves respectfully. But the reality of the COVID will hit later this fall, and it will result in mass illness, probably going to have an election that has a lot of chaos. But the thing that I want all of us to remember before we get to that point is we have choices. You have choices despite everything else to at least have the intention to live your best life, whatever that is. I talked about employment. You know, anything interesting thing about employment, brothers and sisters, is the first person you're going to work for is you. You're your first boss. I mean, your parents might be your first boss that pay you, but you're your first boss, meaning that you're in the driver's seat in terms of how you make decisions, who you speak to, who you don't speak to, what your resume looks like, what your salary looks like. Are you willing to accept this or not accept this? I mean, these are the things that make us complete people, not just in the work arena, but in the life arena. Just like yesterday, I talked about grace. What I didn't say about grace was while it's undeserved and it's free, it's undeserved and it's free, it's given from above. What I didn't say about grace was we as individuals have an opportunity to pursue grace, to seek grace in our lives. Even more than that, just along with grace, to seek excellence, to seek compassion, to seek education. We're all compelled as individuals, as creations in this earth, to go out and find information, to grow, to seek a path that expands us, that makes us better, and makes our community better. Now, this seems real pie in the sky, and it does seem pie in the sky. When you see people now, I literally sometimes go, when did that person stop growing? When did that person decide that I'm not going to evolve anymore? You see it on television. These are people that have stunning growth. And while I make jokes a lot of times, it's really making jokes because I'm really sad about the condition of people. The idea of a Monday, it's the beginning of the work week. But we never say it's the beginning of another opportunity to have work. The beginning of another opportunity to grow revenue, make money, feed our families. Imagine if there wasn't a Monday. So you went Friday, you worked Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and there was no Monday to start off the week. That was it. Imagine if you only worked Friday, off Saturday, Sunday, and that was it. I'm changing the dynamics of the conversation because I want everybody to understand that nothing is given. Nothing is given. I'll tell you a story. This is one of these great Sufi stories. And I'm going to mess it up a little bit, but don't be mad at me. I just want everybody to listen. So Reed, it's Eleanor, Satana, Sakina. Everybody listen to this story because it was told to me a long, long time ago. And I really appreciate this story because when we get into times like we're in now, I have to remember this story and it keeps me very, very balanced. Story goes like this. It's in the Middle East, early times of Islam, all that type of stuff. And there were two guys that went to pursue religious studies at a school. They entered at the same time. They were there in a period of time. And over a period of time, they were there, but they assumed different roles. The first person, let's say subject A, went on to be a great jurist. In fact, people would seek his advice from all over the world. And that person was well-renowned as a scholar, and people loved him. They seek his advice. Now, person B didn't elevate above the status of being a cook. He wound up being a cook at the school where he was studying. That was his job. And so these two guys are. One's a renowned scholar, the other one is a cook. But they were friends. And so they were sitting together one time, and the scholar asked the cook, he said, "What's going on? You look sad." He goes, "Well, can I tell you the truth?" He said, "Yeah, always, brother. Tell me the truth." He says, "Listen, you and I came in this thing at the same time. We came in at the same time." He said, "What's the problem?" He said, "Look at us. I'm a cook. I make food at the school." Because you're a scholar. Kings come to get advice from you. People respect you. People don't even know me. And so the scholar said, "Well, what did you want?" He goes, "Easy. I want what you have. Give me what you have." And he goes, well, let me ask you a question before I give you what I have. He goes, what? He goes, let me ask you a question. He goes, are you ready? He said, of course I'm ready. He said, no, no, no. Are you ready? He said, yeah. He said, okay. Tell you what, the next time somebody comes in and they want a recommendation for a high position, I'm going to recommend you for the position. So the cook was really, really happy. And he went back to, cooking. That's what he did. So he's cooking one day and the scholar walks in. He goes, listen, I just had a caravan come in from India. They need a new Maharaja. They need a new king. I'm recommending you for the job of king. And he was like, really? He said, yeah. He said, here's the stipulations. Whatever it is you, earn as king, I'm going to ask, whatever you come into, I'm going to ask for half of it. You keep half, and I'm going to take the other half. I'm going to give it to the poor. He goes, can you understand that? He goes, that's no problem. I'm going to give you half. You give it to the poor. I'm going to keep half. He goes, no problem. He says, well, just keep cooking. So the cook was stirring over the cards, and he said, just keep cooking. So he's stirring. And he comes in and goes, listen, they need you to go right now. So he stopped stirring. Now the cook did well. The cook went on to achieve some status as a new king of this kingdom. He fought a couple of wars. He even got married, had a child at an advanced age. He's living his best life. One day, though, he gets a call. He gets a note. It's a note from the scholar. The scholar says, I haven't seen you in a while. I'm going to come through and visit. It'd be good to see you. Now, the king, formerly the cook, starts getting nervous. He starts thinking irrationally. He's thinking maybe the scholar waited for me to get these vast riches so he could take more. And in his mind, he says, you know what? I'll fool him. What I'll do is I'll make it look like I have less, and then I can give him less. So what happens is the scholar shows up. And of course, the king tries to browbeat him. Hey, he goes, no. He says, listen, I got a dinner schedule. We'll eat, we'll kick back, we'll catch up. And so they're sitting back, catching up and having a good time. The king goes, listen, I know you want your money. Let's handle that in the morning. No problem. They wake up in the morning, brothers and sisters. And the king has all of this riches and all this stuff stacked on these camels. And he tells the scholar, hey, listen, man, that's all your stuff, half. And so the scholar goes, you're giving me half of everything, huh? He goes, yeah. He goes, well, I heard you had some wives. He goes, no, just one. Can't take that one. He goes, yeah. He said, but I heard you had a son. He goes, yeah. He said, bring your son out. I haven't seen him. And the son came out and he said, this is a beautiful looking boy. And the scholar took out his sword, put it at the top of the son's head and said, which half do you want, left or right? The king panicked. He took out his sword. He stabbed the scholar, turned it right, turned it left. He blinked. He was back over that cauldron stirring that food. And the scholar looked at it from the corner and said, guess you're not ready. You can pull whatever inference you want from that story, but I'm going to ask to give me some leeway. One of it is the idea that in being thankful, in being grateful, it is an exercise for readiness. Like they say, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. If you stay prepared with gratitude, you don't have to find gratitude. If you stay prepared to be thankful, you don't have to fake being thankful. If you pursue grace, grace will pursue you. Now that's pretty much my Mo Better Mondays, brothers and sisters. I hope it wasn't too preachy, because I didn't want to go that route. But what I didn't want to do was miss some of the nuances of how great it is to be. I didn't say be black, be Muslim, I said just be. I mean, in a space where you wake up in the morning and realize, I'm lucky to be here. And once you get past that, I'm lucky to be able to change the fortune of myself, for my family, for my community, all those things. Because people aren't thinking like that. All I'm saying is, brothers and sisters, is that there's a whole lot of cooks that think they're kings. I'm Preacher Moss. This is a shout out show. Listen, you guys have been lovely. Remember, There's a little cook in all of us. There's a little king or queen in all of us. What's in all of us is the opportunity to be great. Don't be afraid to be great, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Appreciate you, and I will see you tomorrow. Listen, I hope that you enjoyed your shout out show experience. We'll be back with the next show, the next shout out show. A simple ask before you go, please help your brother out. Click that subscribe button, click that notify button, and I'll see you again on this side of the microphone. You probably wonder what that smell is. That's me. I smell good. And the reason I smell good is because I use oils from Tarifa Tar. So I'm not saying you can't smell good. I'm not even saying you stink. I'm saying you have the opportunity to smell exquisite. Check out tarifatar.com for some of the best oils and scents in town.